The news barely made it past the factory gates. At exactly 8:17 a.m., every machine inside Kagawa Precision stopped at the same time. Conveyor belts froze mid-motion. Robotic arms paused midair, holding half-finished components worth millions of yen. Office computers locked. Phones went silent. Even the cafeteria lights dimmed, as if the building itself was holding its breath. Workers stared at each other, confused. Supervisors rushed out of glass offices. Someone joked nervously that maybe there was an earthquake coming. Then the announcement came through the speakers. Attention, all employees. This is an emergency company-wide shutdown. All operations are suspended today. Please remain calm and follow instructions from management. No explanation. No timeline. Just silence afterward. For a company that produced parts for bullet trains, satellites, and medical equipment across 3 continents, this was unthinkable. Kagawa Precision had never shut down, not for typhoons, not for earthquakes, not even during the worst years of global supply shortages. Every minute offline meant millions lost. And yet, on this morning, the billionaire founder himself had ordered everything to stop, because one Filipino worker had died. His name was Manny de la Cruz. Most people at the company knew him simply as Manny. Some called him Kia Manny, even the Japanese workers older than him. He worked in maintenance, an invisible job, the kind that only got noticed when something broke. He fixed leaks, unclogged drains, repaired machines at odd hours, and cleaned up messes no one else wanted to touch. He arrived early, he stayed late. He smiled even when his Japanese wasn't perfect and his accent was thick. He bowed deeply, laughed easily, and always brought extra food to share. But he was not famous. He was not important on paper. And yet, the most powerful man in the company had shut everything down for him. 3 days earlier, Manny had collapsed in his small apartment on the outskirts of Nagoya. A sudden heart attack. No warning, no goodbye. Just silence where his voice used to be. When the call came to the company, HR processed it like any other case. Forms, notifications, a brief internal email offering condolences. It should have ended there, but it didn't, because someone forwarded that email to the very top. Hiroshi Kagawa was not a man known for sentimentality. At 72, he had built his empire from a rented garage, sleeping on factory floors in his 20s, surviving on instant noodles and pride. He was precise, disciplined, feared in boardrooms, and respected across industries. He rarely involved himself in day-to-day matters anymore. He trusted systems. He trusted numbers. But when he read Manny's name, something stopped him. He read it again. Manuel de la Cruz. It sounded familiar in a way spreadsheets never did. He called his assistant. "Bring me his file," he said. The assistant hesitated. "Sir, he's maintenance staff." "I know," Kagawa replied calmly. "Bring it." The file was thin. Contract worker, Filipino, 10 years with the company, no disciplinary issues, perfect attendance. Several commendations buried in internal notes for helping beyond scope of duties. Kagawa stared at the photo attached to the file. A smiling man with kind eyes and a shy grin. And suddenly he remembered. 10 years ago, Kagawa had visited the factory unannounced late at night. A machine had malfunctioned during a critical production run. Engineers panicked. Managers argued. Millions were at risk. While everyone was frozen, one man crawled underneath the machine without waiting for permission. He worked quietly, hands covered in grease, humming softly. That man had fixed the problem in 20 minutes. When Kagawa asked who he was, the man bowed deeply and said, "Maintenance Po." "Sir, Manny." Kagawa had nodded once and walked away. But Manny had bowed again and said, "Sir, thank you for building this place. It feeds my family." At the time, Kagawa thought nothing of it. Now, 10 years later, that memory returned with weight. Kagawa closed the file and asked one simple question. "Where is his funeral?" The assistant blinked. "Sir, where will he be buried?" "In the Philippines, sir. His body is being repatriated." Small town in Batangas. Kagawa stood up. "Cancel my meetings," he said. "Sir, you have a board session with. Cancel them all." He walked to the window, looking down at the city he helped build. "I will attend." The assistant froze. "Sir, respectfully." The board, the shareholders, "Can wait." Silence hung heavy in the room. Then Kagawa turned and shut the company down that day. The assistant thought he misheard. "Sir? No work, no production." "No exceptions." "Sir, that will cost." "I know exactly how much it will cost," Kagawa said quietly. "I built this company by knowing cost." He paused. "This is not an expense. This is a debt." The board exploded when they heard. Emergency calls, furious objections, threats of stock impact and international delays. Kagawa listened without interrupting. When they finished, he said only this: "A company that cannot stop for one human life deserves no future." The line went silent. No one argued again. And so, on a humid afternoon in Batangas, a black car convoy rolled into a small barangay that had never seen anything like it. People stopped sweeping their yards. Children paused their games. Tricycles slowed to a crawl. Out stepped a tall, elderly Japanese man in a simple black suit. No entourage, no cameras. Just one assistant carrying a small white envelope. Inside the modest chapel, Manny's family sat stunned. They had been grieving quietly, expecting nothing more than prayers from neighbors and co-workers abroad. Then the barangay captain whispered urgently, "May hepon po as they labas." Mukhang Mayaman. Manny's widow, Liza, looked up, confused. When Kagawa entered, he bowed deeply lower than anyone expected. "I am Hiroshi Kagawa," he said softly. "I worked for Manny." The words didn't make sense. Liza stood, shaking. "Sir, my husband worked for your company." Kagawa shook his head. "No, I worked for him." He walked to the casket and stood silently for a long time. No words, no gestures. Just stillness. Then he bowed again, lower, longer. The room was silent except for quiet sobs. Outside, words spread quickly. The billionaire shut down his company. The billionaire flew just for a funeral. People cried not because of the money, but because of the respect. During the service, Kagawa spoke briefly. "Your husband," he said, voice steady but heavy, "showed me something I forgot while building success." He looked at Manny's children. He reminded me that loyalty, humility, and quiet dedication are the strongest foundations any empire can have. He handed the white envelope to Liza. Inside was not a check. It was a letter, handwritten. It promised education for Manny's children, security for his family. But more than that, it thanked Manny not as a worker, but as a teacher. When Kagawa left, he bowed again, to the family, to the casket, to the town. Back in Japan, production resumed the next day. Markets stabilized. Losses were absorbed. But something had changed. Workers stood taller. Managers spoke softer. People remembered that the company had a soul. And somewhere in Batangas, a man who fixed machines quietly was honored louder than any executive ever would be. Because one Japanese billionaire remembered who truly kept his company running and shut everything down just to say thank you.